One of my favorite things about doing what I do is hearing from you. And last night I got a message asking if I happen to have any photographs of a Santa or a Christmas tree. And I don't. So it sparked an idea though. And so a little bit later that evening, I packed up my camera and my tripod and I hoofed it on up to the downtown area of our little town, and there's this beautiful Christmas tree there. And so I thought, I wonder if I can shoot that. So I got there, and the tree is beautiful. I went through a couple of composition ideas, and I wanted to show you kind of my progression, my process as I found the right composition for that. So let's take a look at these photos, and I'll just kind of talk through them and then show you the one that I ended up with and why I chose that one. This is the Christmas tree, and you can see, I mean, it's a beautiful tree, and this was my first shot of it. But you can just see, I mean, it's got that ugly fencing around it. There's just not a whole lot of interest in this photo. It's a little bit flat, but this was the first composition. I ended up not using that one. I moved and found this composition, which I definitely liked better. I like that, you know, it has some foreground elements, and the tree is there, but it's not necessarily the main focus. But it still looked a little too commercial for my liking. I didn't like that the star on top wasn't facing the camera right, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like a an image that would be, you know, on a postcard or something. I like this, but it just wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I moved around a little bit more, and then going toward the other side of the tree, found this, but again, it's just so flat. And obviously it's sideways, so we can't see the tree topper. We can still see that fence. Just not a very pleasing photograph. And we could process this and really pull that tree out and make it look nice. But again, there's just not a lot of elements here that are just really pleasing to look at. It's just flat. You know, we talked about our three interesting things in a photograph. You can watch that video if you'd like. This one doesn't have that. It has one interesting thing, and there's no depth. It's just a really flat photograph. So moving around, and this next image is the one that I chose and the one that I went with. And I went back a little later in the day. So this is a different time of day and a fully processed image. Everything that we've been looking at has been raw and unprocessed so far. So this image is the one that I really liked. And I really love that we can't see the fence in this image. I love that we can see the star on top. I love the background, the sky. And I also really love that we have this pathway that kind of invites the user to take a little walk, take a little journey, and say, I wonder what's around that corner. We have a little bit of light coming through back there, and it just draws the eye and encourages some time spent with this photograph. And I really like that. So this is a concept that I try to look for in a composition, is what might bring the viewer in just a little bit more. Obviously, you can see the contrast between just a flat version of a Christmas tree and one that provides a little bit more of an atmosphere that the viewer can walk through with their eyes and just pause and enjoy a little bit more. Looking for compositions, this is a great piece of advice to keep in mind, is what might invite the viewer to really have a journey with this photo rather than just slapping a photograph in somebody's face. And so this is a pretty decent example of that. Another one that I was reminded me of as I was thinking about this is this shot here, kind of a similar concept where you have this pathway that just kind of disappears in the middle of the photograph, and we have this person walking, and it just kind of invokes that feeling of, I wonder where that person's going. I wonder what is just beyond what we can't see. And I think that causes a viewer to just kind of stop and just have a moment with the photograph and maybe reflect or have an idea or trigger some sort of emotion. And I think that's really a great power of photography. We could have just moved to the left a little bit and shot this in a traditional format. It still would have been an absolutely gorgeous photograph. But just by moving the camera a little bit and kind of blocking that vantage point in the back and just create that sense of wonder. I wonder what's back there. And I feel like this Christmas tree image has that same sort of feel where it invites the user, the viewer, to get in there and just take a walk and go beyond that path, follow that curve, and maybe go to the other side of the tree and see what it looks like from there. So there you go. Just some quick thoughts on how you might set up to create a composition that really invites a viewer into your photograph and get them to spend a little more time with it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.